and welcome to another episode, and today we have something absolutely awesome, and this is, as you can guess on my white shirt, is another Porsche 911. And as you can imagine already, this is becoming that signature shirt. But let's talk about this specific model. It is the 911 997.2, so the facelift. Let's talk a little bit history first. The car comes from 2005 and it replaces the previous Gen 996, which was a little bit of a controversial car. However, I think it is an absolutely lovely 911. But up to this one, they've improved it, and it is been on the market since 2005 and all the way up to 2012 with that facelift and mid-cycle refresh in 2009. This one here is the Carrera 4S, which came for the first time with some really cool and clever technology, such as the PDK for the first time with a launch control. And as you can imagine, this car in an all-wheel drive option, it is a pretty good beast, and especially a very quick car for its time. It came out with 385 horsepower from 3.8 liter naturally aspirated flat 6 engine, and as you can imagine, it sounds absolutely brutal. And it loves revving. Another really interesting thing for this generation, that for the first time the water-cooled engines since the 996 are now coming with direct injection for the fuel. So another new tech. You have plenty, in a typical Porsche fashion, options to choose for the 911 range, and this is, I think, one of the sweet spot, which is the Carrera 4S. It has that all-wheel drive, it has the usability, and it just offers generally really good performance. However, if you don't like this type of cars, you can always step up to the turbo, and for the first time ever in 2009 the Porsche released a Turbo S for this car, so it can compete with the GTR, which was the fastest car around the Nürburgring back then. And guess what? It took the title again. Is it an extremely amazing car? Absolutely. As you can see, this one has some changes fitted to it. I'll start with the interior first. This is not the typical steering wheel which you get, and you probably guessed it, that bucket seat as well not. They're coming from the GTS model of the 997. And why did the owner decided to do that? Quite simple, because now you get these perfectly lovely pedals to switch the gears yourself, instead of that funny looking, toyish and very outdated, in my opinion, pedals on the steering wheel. Another thing, the bucket is because that car is with a slightly racing setup, and of course you need a very good support and to be well bolstered when hitting the tracks around Europe. To continue the upgrades on the exterior of this car, the first thing you probably notice are the red accents all around the car. The owner decided to go all in with all the red accents, and would you guess where it started from? I didn't, but he told me it's from the red brake calipers. They originally were painted in red, and he decided to continue that, and I think it went really good with that combination. You get these super nice looking OZ Sport wheels that are the Ultra Leggera, and they signify that lightweight and very improved performance for the truck. And last but not least are the visual cues that you see, like the striping and the super nice GT2 spoiler at the rear. I think it absolutely looks lovely, and every single car should be fitted with one if it's a 911. It just makes the car with a massive presence that it really deserves. The KW or KW suspension is actually a Club Sport one, so it lowers the suspension even further for that perfect ride and the sweet spot on the track. However, that said, don't be scared of that. We are driving in Bulgaria on very Eastern European roads, which are absolutely uneven, and the suspension is doing great in dealing in most bumps, and it's just generally an absolute joy to drive. To save some weight, they've removed also the rear seats, which I think it actually makes the car way more usable, since the seats at the back of the 997 are not really that usable, and now you can put your luggage quite easily, and when you go to the track you just have that better control over the car due to the reduced weight. The car handles so sweet, the steering is absolutely precise. I understand why people are buying these Porsches, and it doesn't matter if it's the newest or the oldest generation, they all have something to offer. But this Carrera 4S on that sport setup and the sweet exhaust at the rear, it is just the perfect car. It will make you smile every single day. Believe me, if you get the opportunity for that price point, just without thinking, go and get one. downshift. And the MM exhaust comes with that catalytic converter, and it really helps to boost that sound. I am truly impressed by what this car is capable of. Another really important aspect, in my opinion, is the daily drive usability of this car. As you can see, we just placed the car in a very tight location, and you have a reasonably good visibility all around except for the rear window, and generally it is super easy with the Parktronic help to park everywhere and to maneuver. So in terms of sports cars usability, it gets definitely a very high result from me. I absolutely love that. Porsche says in terms of dynamics that it should do with the PDK transmission 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 4.3 seconds, but we're gonna measure that and we're gonna give you the real results of this car. To continue with the interior of this car, I can't believe it is more than 10 years old. Everything feels super high quality, and you understand where a lot of the money went into producing this car. Everything is stitched super nice leather, especially in this very light color, and I personally loved it, especially with this now contrasting GTS black steering wheel and the bucket seat. But in general, it is super high quality. You won't find any scratchy plastics whatsoever throughout the cabin of this Carrera 4S, and this is a really good compliment for that time. Although not many people would actually gonna use the infotainment system, it is surprisingly well built. It is even for that year a touchscreen, and it works really responsive and well. I absolutely like it because you get a very modern package for that time of the car. But important is how this car drives, and I'm probably gonna repeat myself for 100 times, but it is absolute joy to drive. You downshift on the PDK, or you just let it do its own thing, because the PDK is a super smart thing, and it just goes like mental. It covers absolutely without any issues any of the corners. The Cave suspension, but also the standard suspension, holds you really well onto the tarmac, and we are with semi-slicks at the moment. This is another reason why the car holds even better at this very dry road, and it is super amazing to be sitting in. The driver position, typical Porsche, a low and very spot on, and you just have a lot of feedback from the steering wheel going onto the road. The best part about that PDK is that when it came out back then, it was a really good automatic transmission. However, now with a lot of tuners available throughout the whole world, you can make that automatic gearbox even faster. No body roll whatsoever, and this is just a 4S. Of course, on steroids, but it's still a 4S. So what is my verdict driving the Porsche 911 997.2? As with every single other Porsche, if you can afford it, just buy it, because the cars are simply made to last forever, and that genius design that they've made both in exterior and interior wise will be something that everybody will be looking at no matter of the time. And if you're not a typical fan for that Porsche 911 look, you have to appreciate the fact that it's a sports car which can fit more than enough luggage room in the front trunk, also known as the frunk, and also in the rear seat. There's just that perfect amount of usability that you can track the car and on the same day get it and go hundreds or thousands of kilometers in these comfortable seats and go in the most relaxed manner possible. And with that said, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you appreciate and like the channel, please give it a like and subscribe, because we'll be able to take more amazing cars like this one, and owners and other dealerships can trust us. Thank you, and we're gonna see you on the next one.